It's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it is time for a Stampin' tutorial. All right, let's see. I've got some folks on. Oh, yeah, it is hot here too. I don't think it's 90, but it's 84. It's 84. I guess I had hoped we would have, spring for more than like a minute and a half, but apparently we're going to jump right into summer. So that's pretty awesome. Let me go ahead and just do a quick refresh over here because I'm not entirely convinced. There we go. Now I'm certain that I'm actually transmitilating. So that's a good thing. All right. So here is our card for today, and it features the gorgeous, well, gorgeous isn't the right word. This is a fun set. It's called Charming Duck Pond, and it has a matching die set, which cuts out a lot of things, including this fun little circular frame, which I didn't even use today. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There's some cute samples in the catalog using it. So there you go. So this is the fun set, but the DSP is both fun and beautiful. So there's fun designs, like that little duck family swimming, and then there's just pretty designs in Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Granny Apple Green, Pretty Peacock. And did you know that Pretty Peacock and Granny Apple Green were like made for each other? It's crazy. They're so pretty. Look at that Pretty Plaid in Pretty in Pink. So that's Pretty Plaid in Pretty in Pink. There you go. Say that a couple of times fast. All right. So anyway, it's very pretty. Some, I think those are, I don't know. They're flowers on lily pads. I don't know what those are called. All right. And some koi and some pretty stripes. So there you go. This is called Lily Pond Lane. It's part of the suite, and it's 6x6 paper. Okay. So the card that I did with this is called a puzzle slider card. And you can see it opens up like this. And you've got some puzzle pieces that slide back together and make it so you can still put this card in a regular medium envelope, which is pretty darn cool. Water lily. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, Robin. I appreciate that. And yes, Susan, this is a set that I bought kind of kicking and screaming because I knew I was going to see cute things with it, and then I did, and so I was really glad I already had it. But it's really darling, and it has the added advantage of doing something that I really am a fan of, which is the dies coordinate with the DSP. So for this card, you can see, I don't have another one on this piece of paper, but you can see, oh, there it is. I used this die set to cut out my duck for my card front. And then this one actually cuts out this little duck. So you can stamp your duck. You can use these dies to cut a body and wings and all the other pieces and parts, like, a duck bill, and assemble your ducks that way, or you can stamp them and color them with Stampin' Blends, or use the fill images that are in the set. So there's all sorts of ways to create with this cool bundle, which really makes it versatile, I think. And it's got cute little sentiments, happy birthday, hello, and you make me happy, which I think is a really great everyday occasion kind of a thing. So let's go ahead and get started. This will all be on my blog tomorrow. But as with any fun fold that is not, it's going to be more conducive to showing it to you in person or in videoing or something like that. And it'll be a lot easier than trying to read the directions. But I'm gonna do my level best. Now, I will also tell you one more thing. This one I created with a slightly larger border around my DSP than I normally have. And I did that partly because the videos that I watched to see how to make this, that's kind of the size they went with. But the one I'm going to make today, I have reverted back. I've done a little mathing on it, and I've reverted back to my normal border. So you can either use this size, and I'll give you those dimensions in the blog tomorrow, or you can use the size that we're going to do today and make a slightly smaller border. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, obviously also, and I say obviously because I pull this one out. This one is like, it has a permanent spot on my table. It's hardly ever goes back. But we've used this largest of the stylish shaped circles for our little artwork on the front. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going. We'll start by making our card base, which if you take a look at it, if you kind of broke it down, deconstructed it as it was, you can see it's kind of a modified Z-gate. So this is card base all the way along here. So we are starting with a piece of peach pie cardstock that is 4 1/4 tall by 9.5 inches wide. Okay, so that's our card base size. And I'm going to use my score tool. You can also use the trimmer. You can use the score blade on the trimmer, but I thought I would pull this out. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 2 inches on this end. And then we're going to move down over here and we're going to go at 7.5 inches and 8.5 inches. So if you're following with the math, you have a 1-inch panel, a 1-inch panel. Then you have a 5.5 inch, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inch panel, and then another 1 inch and another 1 inch. Okay. So let me put this away now. Hey, Jean, I think you'll enjoy it. I really do think you'll like it if you dig into it, Jean. Okay, so we want to create our gatefold by starting with this inside fold going in. All right, so I'm just going to turn it. And when you're doing fun folds, you do want to spend a little time making your folds and your scores accurately. Okay, and then we'll turn it and do the other direction. And by accurately, I mean straight. Sometimes, even with our best efforts, we get a little bit of a crooked score. Make the score go straight. You see how that's straight along there? Okay. And then we're going to take this second fold, which is actually the one on the outside, if you will, and we're going to fold the opposite direction. Okay, just like that. So give it a fold, make sure it's straight, and then give it a burnish with your bone folder. So we've got it like that. We'll turn and go opposite, just like that. So, geographically speaking, you can see that we have 4 score lines folded opposite directions. I would call these 2 valleys and these 2 mountains. And when you put them together like that, that's how it looks. Okay? And that's really kind of the extent of the fold. So what I want to do first, and I think you're going to want to do this, I really do, is you're going to want to do your inside first. Because once everything gets on, it becomes kind of a bleh. The only thing I will tell you is when you've done that, and then you put your panels on, and then you get ready to decorate it, put this on right side up. Ask me how I know that. I know that because, well, you know how I know. I wouldn't have said it if I had not borked it, right? But I did bork it, and so don't bork it. Don't be like me. All right, on the inside, very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cute little cattail image, and I'm going to stamp it twice in each corner, one time in Pretty Peacock, and a second time in Granny Apple Green. Have I mentioned that Pretty Peacock and Granny Apple Green were like made for each other? If I haven't, they were like made for each other. And when I stamp this, I'm going to make sure that the bottom of my cattails is over the bottom edge so that I don't have a gap. I don't like gaps. I'm not a gappy kind of person. Okay, so I'm going to stamp once there in Pretty Peacock. And no, that's not an error. That's the top of the cattails. This is a 2-step stamp. So I'll do it again over here, like that. And then I'm going to, actually, you know what? Look at how efficient I'm going to be. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm going to go ahead and do the Pretty Peacock stamp on my medium envelope. Like that. Now, in theory, that will reduce the number of times I clean my stamp set today. Or it won't. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. I hope y'all are having a good week. And do you have any big plans for the Memorial Day weekend, other than taking a moment to think about the folks who, I saw a really good meme on Facebook, and it talks about the difference between Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and, well, shoot, the other one, not the 4th of July. Well, The difference between Veterans and Memorial Day. Veterans Day is for anyone who served and is still around, and then Memorial Day are for the folks that gave their lives in the service to their country. So that's what we are commemorating this weekend. All right. So just hope while you're doing your barbecues and your whatnots and your wheretofores that you take a moment to think about the reason we're able to do that. Those who went before and the veterans who are still serving, although this is not technically their day. All right, so Granny Apple Green, soapbox dismounted. We're going to go ahead and stamp that there, and then stamp that there, and then we'll do our envelope of Lapa. Labor Day. Maybe Labor Day? No. Labor Day is like for workers. It was another one that was the military. Maybe it's Armed Forces Day. So Armed Forces Day are to celebrate people currently serving. Veterans Day is for those who have served but are still with us. And Memorial Day is for those who served and are no longer amongst us. There you go. That was it. It was Armed Forces Day. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but since this isn't a civics tutorial, it'll be okay. Here we go. I know it. Pretty Peacock and Granny Apple Green, and then add in Pretty in Pink and Peach Pie. Hello. It's a great set. Oh, look at what I just did. Look at what I just did. Oh, well, I'll fix it. I'll fix it with an embellishment later before I mail it. All right. I'm going to put that out of the way because I'm obviously going to be a pigger. Now, I have the little cattails, and you stamp 3 at a time. And so I'm going to stamp in Pretty Peacock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Pretty Peacock atop the Pretty... No, I'm going to put Pretty in Pink atop the Pretty Peacock cattail. Whew. Say that 2 or 3 or 12 times fast. Oh, heck, I couldn't even say it once. Now, when you do this, you kind of want to line it up so that those little cattail tops are at the top of the cattails. If you don't, nobody is going to go, oh my God, I hate this card. You did not line up your cattails. But I'm going to pull it to me just a little bit so that I have a half a fighting chance of getting it close. And I think that's close enough. We'll do the other side as well. Okay, and then I'll do it on my envelope as well. And then we're going to clean the stamp set and do this again in Peach Pie. All right, color, clean my stamp, pull out the Peach Pie. And I will tell you what, these colors came straight off the DSP because I probably never would have gone so crazy as to use pink and peach for my cattails because my brain just doesn't work like that. I'd have been going, oh, I need to use wild wheat or crushed curry or some crumb cake, possibly some mossy meadow. But nope, I went straight off of the DSP. All right, now that one is a little harder to see because I've got so many cattails all at once, but it's close. I'll take it. And there we go. That's all we're doing on the inside. I am not even putting a sentiment, okay? Thank you, Marva. All right, now, there's no up or down quite yet, so we're still safe. We're fixing to get into some serious up and down country, though, so... A little bit of liquid glue around the edges. And you can imagine if you had all the front tabs on, boy, you'd be really playing around with a lot of stuff in the way while you were trying to do this. Okay. And don't let me leave here without putting on my dragonflies. I'm going to do the card front first. Okay. Now, to do the card front, we're going to start. You need 4 pieces of, I recommend using the same color as your card base, and you're going to have 4 pieces that are going to fit together like this puzzle. Okay, so you have 2 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 3 1/4, 2 1/8 by 3 1/4, 2 1/8 by 3 1/4, and then 2 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 2 1/4. So these 2 pieces are that. These ones you kind of want to watch. It's very close to being a square, so you can get yourself discombobulated. So what I recommend is that you always just keep putting your puzzle back together, okay? And make sure that you're doing what you want to do. Okay, so that is the 4 pieces that create the puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see them right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now, the next piece is 4 inches tall by 5¼ inches wide. Now, you can tell this is very much an up and down design, okay? If I'd cut it this way, that wouldn't have been so good. Even if it was the right, you know, it would have been sideways. So be thinking that through. You want the short end going this direction and the longer line going this direction, all right? Okay, so now we're gonna get our trimmer out, and I'm gonna leave my little puzzle sitting right here like this, because it will help me, and it will help you, it will help us, it will help all of the peeps that are currently doing this right now. Okay. So this is how it would go, and obviously I'm going to cut it into 4 different pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the long direction at 2 inches, okay? 2 inches. And that makes sense if you think about it, because this is 2 1/8 inch wide right here, okay? So just like that. And then the piece goes back together like this. And I'm making sure I can match up my designs. All right. Now, both of these pieces I'm going to cut into a 2 inch wide. They're both going to be 2 inches wide. One is going to be 3 1/8 inch long, and then the other one is going to be 2 1/8 inch long. But it's going to be different on both of them. This one I'm going to cut at 3 1/8 and leave 2 1/8 on this side. This one I'm going to cut at 2 1/8 and leave the 3 1/8 inch over here. I'll show you how that works. So this one, you can see I need to cut 3 1/8. So that's what I'm going to do. And always just keep putting your puzzle back together, you guys, and you won't get yourself in a twist, I promise. Okay. So there's the top piece of the puzzle, like that. And then this, you see the design still matches up, but I need to cut at 2 1/8 this direction. Let me double check that. 2 1/8 here, and that will leave me a 3 1/8 on the other side. Is that making sense? Y'all give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, or if I need to come up with a different way to explain it. Or if you're like, duh, Mary, this is too simple. Please move along. Good Lord, I have other things to do today, Mary. For all that is holy, please move it along. All right, there we go. And so you can see if you just keep putting your puzzle back together, it would be very hard. I mean, I can screw this up. I already did it once, but it's actually kind of hard to do. Okay, so there's our card front. Now all I'm going to do is take a little bit of time. Thank you, guys. Okay, so you're good to go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue to put my puzzle pieces on their mats. Now, y'all, I could have chosen Pretty Peacock as the card base and my puzzle pieces here. I probably could have used, I don't think I would have used Pretty in Pink. I think the DSP would have gotten lost on that. But the Pretty Peacock would have been kind of pretty. Get it? Pretty Peacock would have been pretty. That was a joke. It wasn't all that funny. I'm just, throwing that out there, though. Okay. So I've got that matted. And this one that's kind of square, you want to keep the pieces together like this. That will help you from inadvertently trying to mat this with the mat going the wrong direction. Remember, it's so close to being a square that it's a little hard to tell. But when you've kind of put them together like this, it becomes much easier. And when you go to put your DSP on, you can kind of see pretty quickly that it isn't going to work. So if I inadvertently turn this, you can see it would be very much not right. But I am not saying that I could not mat that like that and then go back and go, oh my gosh, and then have to pull it off or do something like that. And you do get 4 each of the designs, but that really still, there's only a few mistakes that you can make before you have to find a different design to make your card with. I'm just saying. All right, so here we go. Here's our last piece. And I know you guys are thinking, oh my God, she's at 121 and we've not even put the card together. Okay, Thank you for coming, Renee. I'm glad you're having some time in the garden. I certainly need to. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to adhere these to the card base, like so. And you're just going to want to get them straight, so you're going to line the top edge up and the side, bottom, and then like this, and then like that. All right, so we're going to do that. I'm using liquid glue. I mean, you are certainly welcome to use whatever makes you the happiest, but you guys know I'm a liquid glue girl. I'm a liquid glue girl. There we go. Come on out, liquid glue. So I'm just putting a little bit like that. And then make sure you're still up, and then line that up just like that. The liquid glue is nice because it gives you a minute to make sure that everything is lined up. Okay. There we go. And we'll turn that back so that I don't screw up. Just saying. Now, I am going to put my puzzle back together because, there we go. Okay. I don't want to put the wrong piece in the wrong spot, because then I have to dig it all back off of there again. Okay, still right side up. Button those up as best I can. Making sure everything's lined it up. Lined it up. Lined up. Yep. Looking good. So far, so good. Hold your breath. I've only got 2 more to go. All right. And then this guy will go here, and you can see the design lines up. So we'll put a little bit of liquid glue here. Like that. And then, ooh, I'm taking a risk. Taking a risk. I'm turning it sideways just so that I can get that put on the way I want it to be. There we go. Like that. And then the final piece. It's the final puzzle piece. That is not the actual words. All right, and make sure it's right. Yep. And then we'll put this like so. Like that. Okay. There you go. And there is your puzzle all ready to decorate. Isn't that so fun? How fun is that? And I've actually seen them where they've got like 4 on each side. But to me, that breaks up your DSP too much. I think it's pretty cute just like this. This one needs to kind of wiggle just a little bit that way. There we go. See, that liquid glue is the best. It gives you a little squiggle room. Okay, so let's let that set and do its thing. You'll be glad to know I've done some die cutting already. I've done some die cutting. Okay, so here's that little duck from the DSP that I told you about earlier. And let me show you which dies are what here. This die right here, when you use it, you cut out 2 cattails at a time. So I've already done that. And actually, I'm going to have extras. I saved 1 Granny Apple Green, and I'm only going to use 1 Pretty Peacock, so we can have this one for later. And then I used one of the pieces, one of the the peach pie pieces, to cut another one of them. And I've also used some of the Pretty in Pink one to cut some of those water lilies. All right, so I have water lilies. 1, 2. You actually get, when you cut them out, you get 2 at a time, so that's handy. And then the smaller flowers, you also get 2 at a time, and I'm only going to use 1, so I'm just going to put that aside for later. And I have a couple of lily pads in Granny Apple Green. This is the die that I use, and when you cut it, you get a separate one, and then you get the one that's all stuck together, so that makes it very handy. Now, let me show you what I'm going to do. Let me show you what I'm going to do with this one right here. I am going to take my Twizzlers. Nope. I'm going to take my Skizzers, which may or may not still be on my desk anywhere. Oh my goodness. Y'all, don't be like me. Be a little more together than me. Oh, there they are. I see them. 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 Okay. What I'm doing here. Okay, you ready? I'm cutting off the little tip of the cattail. And then I'm going to cut off the little cattail. Like so. I have to be quiet when I do that. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to make sure that the bottom is kind of roundy so that it doesn't look like it was cut off of something so much. And what I am doing is I am going to adhere these to my Granny Apple Green guys. My Granny Apple Green ones. Like that. Come here, you. You tried to get away, didn't you? You tried to get away. Okay, and then this one needs to have a little trimming done. Thank you, Jean. I'm glad you like it. Now, you can tell, actually, that there are two different kinds of cattails. They look the same, but one is a little bit fatter than the other. And if you ever are not sure, the little dots in them, this one has 3 dots on the side, these little 3 dots right here. Go with these little 3 dot ones on the cattail, and then this one only has 2 little dots on the side. Okay. I actually had to share that with you because I just now noticed it. I had not noticed that earlier. I was attempting to figure it out by the relative fatness of the cattail. So I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue and stick that right there, like that, like that. And this one has got 2 pieces stuck in there. Because what I did, because I was kind of lazy yesterday when I was making this, is I also cut a pretty in pink because I wasn't sure what I wanted. So I just stacked them up and cut 2 at a time. And it worked fine. Also, you can use those little dots to make sure you put the cattail right side up and wrong side down. Okay, because the little line of dots goes, well, where the little line of dots is. Okay, so there I have a peach pie. I want to call that Pretty in Peach. I really do. Stampin' Up! Changed the name. All right, there we go. Now, I am going to stamp my sentiment. Hello, friend. Hello, friend. How are you? And I am going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. And I'm just going to do it right here in the corner of that stylish shaped circle die. And then we're going to make our little scene here. We're going to have us a scene. And I'm going to stack these guys up like so. And then this guy is going to go here. And he's going to be standing on a couple of lily pads. I'm pretty sure a duck could stand on a lily pad. If he cannot, please don't tell me. This is my card. And my duck can stand on a lily pad because he's quite the little athlete. Okay, and then we're going to put some flowers on there, but we're going to do it after we adhere it because otherwise it's just going to make us crazy the whole time we're doing this. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our little catty tails on. Yay, Mallory, I'm glad you're going to get this in your next order. I think you will be excited. Like I said, this is one that didn't reach out to me when I first saw the catalog. But now that I have played with it, I really kind of like it. It's really cute. Really cute. Okay. Now we'll put these little guys on with just a little bit of liquid glue on the inside part. Where they go is not terribly, terribly important because ducks can stand anywhere. If they can stand on lily pads, they can stand anywhere. You've never heard of ducks who can stand on lily pads? What? All right, we'll put him right there like that. And then this guy is going to go on with some dimensionals. And we're going to put our little, whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you, Susan. Oh, hey, Joanne, you're welcome. I think you're going to like it. I think you should try it. I do. Because the truth is you could actually make a card without using the duck at all, like my friend Carol did with her card. If you saw the blog hop today, you would have seen her card. I'm going to put this like that. And she didn't even use the duck, and it was darling. So you can kind of change the flavor of the card by using the duck or not. And now it is time for some dimensionales. Oh, dimensionals, come here, please. Come to mama, dimensionals, come to mama. Okay, this one. Okay, here we go. And oop. Put a couple of 3 on there. Head. Remember, you know where I'm fixing to go because I'm fixing to sing. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, and wing. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's that kind of day. There we go. Y'all, I did not even wake up until 7 o'clock this morning, which is really late for me. I don't know why, but it kind of gets my whole day off. I feel like I've missed half of the day when I do that. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I want to make it so that my sentiment is straight, and then I want this guy to be standing straight in his little spot. And then let's go ahead and put some of those dragonflies. Dragonflies. Oh, that one doesn't have any dragonflies left. Where are you, dragonflies? Here you go. Now, these are not available right now, but they are supposed to be back like next week. So if you don't already have a pack of these, you'll be able to get them next week. Let me put that over there. And I'm going to put one little guy right here. And I'm going to put one little guy on the flower. And then I'm going to put one little guy right there, like that. And before I get too far along, I'm going to put one in here, like that. All right, so we'll have one little guy floating around inside. All right, now the final piece of the puzzle, if you will, see what I did there, is to put your card sentiment art piece on. Now, we don't want this to have any adhesive, right? Because we want it to be able to open. And we don't want any adhesive down here because we don't want it to close up and hold everything. So all I did is I kind of eyeballed it, and then I'm just going to put some liquid glue here and some liquid glue here. This is definitely one of those cases where less is more. You don't want to get too close to the edges because it'll smush out. And you don't want to get too far outside of your circle because it's going to smush, okay? So then to put this on, just close your card front, center that baby up, and give it a little hold right there, just like this. Oh, thanks, Susan. It's well, it's watermelons, and it's due for a change, but I didn't want to do a change and then be picking up dyes and things, so I'll probably change it this afternoon. All right, and there you go. Oh my gosh. Is that not so stinking cute? I mean, even if you weren't doing a fun fold with this, if you just did a card base with this DSP and these colors, it would be darling. And that's just because of the stamp set and the bundle. All right, so the final thing is we have our envelope, not that one, this one. And I am going to put some more of this pretty paper on there with a little bit of liquid glue. And be sure you get it right side up. I mean, it's like not a deal breaker end of the world if you don't, but I mean, if you're gonna do it, just do it the right way up. Okay, there we go. Did you guys notice that there was really only one fussy cut on this whole card, and it was trimming the little cattails off, which means it was hardly any kind at all. All right, and there we go. So we're going to do this world's easiest fussy cut. And we're done. Now let me show you the difference here, okay? So here's the card we just made. And here's the sample card with the wider frame, the wider matting. Which one do you like better? Otherwise, they're identical, all right? So which one do you prefer? Whichever one you like better, make it when you make it, all right? I prefer this one because I like the narrower matting. What do you guys think? All right. Well, while you ponder that, I'm going to let you go. Yep, I agree. The one on the left is the cutest one. I like that matte. All right. So, you guys, yes, Cheerful Daisies would be perfect, Susan. That would actually be a very beautiful DSP to use as well. Yes, ma'am. All right, guys, I appreciate you spending part of your week with me, and I hope I'll see you on Saturday. Do I know what we're going to make on Saturday? No, I do not, but I will by then. Enjoy, guys. See ya.